Recently, I heard from a friend that his brother-in-law had got laid off. He used to work at a senior position in an IT firm, drawing reasonably good salaries in his early 50s. So kind of going through a little bit rough patch. And that's when I thought it's important to address the concept of how one builds financial security, especially in today's day and age when jobs are no longer as certain as they used to be before. Financial markets can be very, very large storms. They can be cyclones which can throw people off their gear. That's why one needs to build safety nets and rafts which they can use to kind of steer themselves to safety, irrespective of a violent storm that's going on out there. Now, how does one keep themselves going in spite of the financial problems that they face, especially during times when companies and corporates are going through their financial difficulties? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video, weathering the storm. There are two very, very important aspects that one needs to look at, especially when one is going through a phase of layoff from their jobs. First up, the family goes through the trauma of not only the job loss, but looking at how they're going to go through life in the near term. So it's extremely important that one is able to build an emergency fund. The emergency fund is like a cushion that helps you prevent injuries during a fall. So similarly, an emergency fund essentially designed for say 6 to 12 months of one's life expenses. It has to be kept in a place that's easily accessible to the family. Now, these emergency funds come in to provide a very, very important cash flow to the individual and the family, but more importantly, provide a psychological benefit of saying that I am not going to be on the road even if I don't land another job within the next 12 months. And that timeline gives the family and the individual enough time to prepare themselves mentally to take the next decision that they need to take. So this emergency fund is a very, very important concept of how one builds their financial security. Second is, you need to have savings in various buckets. And these savings can be your retirement funds, it can be your children's education funds, whatever. If you've planned a lot of this well in advance and you have been doing it for a relatively longer period of time, then even a short break or a break in your career doesn't impact it as much because there is a certain corpus already built that continues to roll and continues to grow. So the emergency fund and a planned saving that you have been doing for many years will help you in good stead, even though you could be personally going through a job loss or a layoff or any of those, especially in times of recession. How does one build a bulletproof strategy to keep themselves strong in spite of going through recession or job loss? There is a 4-part strategy that I want to talk about and elaborate. First, like I already mentioned, important to look at an emergency fund, a corpus that's kept somewhere easily accessible. Like I mentioned, 6 to 12 months is a good number to keep. Don't take too much of risk about it. Keep it safe. Safety and liquidity is far more important than trying to get a great return out of that investment. Second, if you had high cost debts, if you have personal loans, if you have credit card loans, these are all very, very high interest costs. It's important to pare them down. Use this opportunity to get rid of all of that so that you can live comfortably at a low cost. High cost debt will mean that you are living with a leaky bucket. Whatever you're trying to put inside is kind of escaping through the leaky bucket. So that's the second one. Third, if you have a retirement fund that is already working for you, make sure that you're on that and make sure that that's working in your favor. It's important not to access your retirement fund immediately, rather use your emergency funds. Let the retirement fund be coming to you at a much later point. Especially if you're somebody in your 50s, important to make sure that you start preparing for a life after your work life. And I'm sure many of us have passions outside our work which we want to pursue. This could be a great opportunity to pursue. Start preparing for it even before the event happens. This will give you a great head start to look at a livelihood, maybe much smaller than you're normally used to, but nevertheless a livelihood. The other way is to probably build a passive income. You could be invested into a property, a commercial property that's giving you reasonably good rental. That could be another way in which you generate passive income. So there are a variety of ways one can look at of generating an alternate to what you are used to, and therefore to a certain extent mitigate the loss of income that comes out of your recession. If you follow these 4 steps, you are creating a bulletproof for yourself against any recession or any job loss. Look forward to following me for more investment advice, especially on financial matters relating to your job security, and investments and returns. I hope you like this video.